Central Arizona Shelter Services, or CAS, is using a former Phoenix Inn as an emergency shelter for seniors in need of housing. And we learn more from Nathan Smith, CEO of CAS. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Great to be seen. Glad to be here.
You betcha. It's called The Haven.
Yeah.
What is The Haven?
It really is exactly that. So it's an emergency shelter comprised of individual units. There's 130 individual units, and we're moving people who are 55 and older and experiencing homelessness off the streets and into this facility for temporary stays of 90 days or give or take, depending on how long it takes to resolve some issues.
These are folks 55 plus medically at risk in some way, shape, or form?
Often by the nature of being 55 and older and having been unsheltered in homelessness for quite a while, the vast majority of the people that we're working with are medically vulnerable, cognitively vulnerable, and the like.
And is this considered a temporary shelter?
It absolutely is, yeah.
How temporary?
The target is 90 days. We always say that extensions aren't very hard to come by. It's a lot to go through to exit homelessness when you've been living on the streets for quite a long time. So what we really want to do is make it so that folks coming to the shelter have opportunities to resolve whatever issues are keeping them homeless. Sometimes that will go longer than 90 days. And as long as that work is happening, we happily extend.
Who is eligible to stay at the Haven? I mean, are there requirements? Do other services bring them to you? How does it work?
Well, the issue with homelessness in the Valley is ever since 2020, the numbers of people who are 55 and older experiencing homelessness have more than tripled. So in other words, there's no shortage of people who might come into our shelter, whether from other providers. We also operate a 600-bed single adult shelter in the downtown Phoenix area. So right now, we're mostly taking people from that congregate style, all in like a couple of big rooms, not appropriate for this medically and cognitively and a little bit older population. That's our main pool, is people will refer folks there and we take them from there and transfer them over.
Okay, and services offered, case management, what else? What else you got going here?
Absolutely. Case management is a core service. We provide that directly. We have a 1-to-15 case management ratio, which is a fairly low ratio, so our folks we can really lean in on the issues that are going on with people there. But we surround with much more that we couldn't possibly provide ourselves. We have a partnership with the Federally Qualified Health Center, Circle the City. They provide medical care. We do a Montreal cognitive assessment to screen for things like dementia and the like. And Circle the City can navigate people to the medical resources necessary if we pick up cognitive issues. So it's really a lot of other wraparound supports besides what we provide.
Yeah, you mentioned wraparound supports. What does that mean?
It really means all the kinds of things that can help you improve your quality of life. People who come to us, again, very medically vulnerable, often COPD, heart disease, behaviorally vulnerable with things like PTSD and the like. And so the wraparound service, legal problems are a huge issue.
Yeah.
Pets, medication, huge issue. Wraparound is we wrap around all those quality of life issues that one faces in their life, and we make sure to resolve them in the way that each individual needs.
Now, the Phoenix Inn was a motel. Obviously, it's now the Haven. Talk about the process from going from a motel to a shelter.
It's wild, actually. One of the things that we learned across the country in the explosion to convert hotels and motels into housing and shelter was that it's costly, both in time and in money. So we definitely learned that it takes a lot more than we expected. And it's just been a few years longer than expected process, and we finally got here.
What were some of the challenges? What'd you face?
We talked about supply chain issues. So there are times when you will face supply chain issues. There was not enough understood about the nature of the facility that we were purchasing. And so we really had to learn on the fly and change the plans for the architectural designs as we went, simply because so much was uncovered in converting an old and somewhat dilapidated motel. You understand why people wanted to maybe not have it.
Are there more motels out there on the horizon?
There are other possibilities that I know and I really hope our industry continues to explore. I think we can do it in a way more efficient than we did, but glad to be the guinea pigs.
Yeah. How do you learn more about CAS? How do you learn more about the Haven? Where do we go?
You go to casaz.org. Central Arizona Shelter Services is our name. Check us out on the website. If you find my information on there, feel free to reach out to me directly.
Sounds good. Nathan Smith, again, congratulations on this and continued success. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ted.